Hello, everyone. We'll just wait probably about 5 minutes. More than that, probably 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes after 6 to see if anyone shows up or any more people show up. Those who are watching, thank you for joining tonight. Really excited about habits. Definitely used them a tremendous amount in my life. It helped me a lot for sure. For sure. Once I figured out habits, my life definitely changed for the better. Just started working on tweaking those things, and it's kind of like the computer programming of your mind in life. It's just like outputting a result. Input code, output results. You guys like my cool blue lights? You've got to buy the Wiz lights on Amazon. You get 3 of them. They're Wi-Fi connected. You can dim, turn them on, off from any room, from an app. If you're in Cuba, you just tap the off button. God, I wish I had these when I was a child. A lot less angry fathers, let's just say that. But you gotta get these lights. They are spectacular. And I turn them on. I set them on to turn on at 7, and then they turn off at 9 when I leave for work, and then turn back on at 6 when I get home, and they'll turn off at 11:50 when I go to bed. I don't think about it. I don't touch a light switch for the past month and a half. Get these lights. You'll love it. All right, let's get going. If you're not on time, you're late, and you'll just have to kind of chime in, and they can ask questions, and we'll pick up later on. If you're seeing this after the fact, I'm going to post this probably on my website. So feel free to reach out to me at JPTaxon24 on Twitter or Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, you'll see I made the event. Happy to answer any other questions or work with anyone one-on-one that needs assistance or help or other guidance. So as we get going, I'll kind of start off and tell you who I am. Then I'll go into what a habit is, and then I'll give you an example. And then I will go into morning routines, and maybe I'll mix it morning and night routines. And then after that, we'll just talk about one last thing, and then we'll be done. And you guys can ask me questions. And we're good to go. Okay, so I'm JP Taxman. I am a designer, entrepreneur, polymath, photographer. I've done a bunch of stuff. Currently, I have a podcast called Out of the Cave, which is about reimagining what society can be if given a fresh start. So on that, I talk about, if we were to build a society from the ground up, all institutions, education, governmental, the economic structures, the governmental structures, the foundation and buildings, and we just built everything, what would it look like? How might we do it? So that's really fun. I've had some great guests on there. We talk about doing it in space on a satellite. I've talked to people about using Bitcoin and the blockchain to use in different interesting ways. So go over there. It's on all the platforms. Aside from that, I love creating what are called fluid daily experiences, or what I call fluid daily experiences, which is where I basically build habits and systems into my life, organizational structures to help my days just feel fluid and very stressless. I go through them with ease. So I'm always looking for that feeling where, for instance, when I put on my shoes, I get this feeling of like that wasn't a stressful engagement of tying those shoelaces, or I'm stressed to pull them on. I got these stretchy shoelaces, which just allows me to slip them on and slip them off, and they still look like good shoelaces, which is a look I personally like. So that's one example. And I build those and look to also build and grow communities. So on top of that, I obviously love habits and building habits, and I'll get into that right now. So I like defining things in words first, so we all are on the same page and really understand what a habit is. So a habit is basically, as Charles Duhigg from his book, The Power of Habit, says, is made up of three parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. And they say this is the habit loop. This is what you go through when you're basically it's your subconscious running a program on some type of action or thought. So as an example, we'll go through, we'll use the example of going for a run, and we'll kind of see, going for a run every day. How do you convince yourself when it just sucks and it hurts and you don't want to do it? How do you convince yourself to go for a run, especially on those days that you're just fuck this, I'm not doing it? First, you start with the cue. So what's the cue, right? For building this habit. The cue is, we'll make it a time. So it'll be 5:30 after I get home from work. I gotta put my shoes on and go for a run. So the cue is the time. The routine is what you do. Okay. So we're trying to build the routine of then at 5:30 putting on, your running clothes, running shorts, running socks, and then the shoes, and then going out the door and going for a run. Maybe putting on your, headphone or whatever you're using. So that's the routine, is going for the run, coming back, and then, maybe having a glass of water and then being done. And that's kind of the routine within the whole habit cycle. Now, what's the reward? That's what's going to keep you right now probably from not going for a run, is because it doesn't feel like a reward. In 30 years when you feel really good because you've been running every day, then there's a long-term reward. But it's hard to feel that every day and make you remember that and want to stick with the habit, right? So that's why a lot of times we fail at implementing habits in our lives. And sometimes I like adding reward punishment, because if there's also punishment at the end for you not doing something, that makes you even more likely to go do something, because we respond honestly more to loss aversion. So maybe losing $100 if you don't go for the run every day for a week. So a friend who's going to keep you accountable. But you also want that reward, so it's like you're not dreading the whole thing still. And like once you stop doing the punishment, you won't stick with it because you're like, well, now there's no punishment. So having a reward also reinforces that habit loop, the Pavlovian cycle of it, right? As an example, using a cookie as a reward. I know that kind of contradicts going for a run, but if it's going to get you like excited about going for a run where you're like, oh, dude, I can't wait to have that cookie when I'm done, but I only get it when I'm done. Or someone, they're like your wife or girlfriend or sister is like, all right, I'll give it, you get the cookie, or they get control over it. Maybe they get a lock key in a lockbox. So they get control over it, but only when you go for a run do you get that cookie. And that right there can tremendously change your life, right? Because you hit the cue, you're, okay, 5:30, then you're thinking about the cookie now instead of the run, because you're like, oh, well, I know I got to do this run, but I really want that cookie, so let's go for the run. So then you go through the whole routine, and then, even on those days it sucks, you're like, all right, whatever, but I get a cookie, so fine, I'll just do it. And then at the end of the run, you eat the cookie, and then you get that rush of dopamine and that sensation that gets associated with the habit. Also, you get this rush of like completion and feeling good for doing what you told yourself you're going to do. Which after a while, that's what happens is you find you might not need the cookie anymore, is because you just built the habit of running, and now you just at 5:30 you put your clothes on and you go for a run. So it's nothing, it's fluid, it's easy. You just do it, and that's what we're going for. But you got to build and like trick yourself into doing it at first sometimes. So that's basically what a habit is. So now let's take kind of what we've learned and let's talk about creating a morning routine. I'll start off by going through mine, and then I'll talk about some other little tips right after. So things to remember when creating a morning routine is don't try to implement everything you want to do in the morning all together, because you'll not do any of them and you'll fail. One thing when working on habits is you have to focus on one at a time. Simplicity, 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 one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. That if there's one thing you take away from this is you should just focus on one habit at a time in whatever you do, because that is so vitally important to successfully following through. So, okay, you have now what building a morning routine. So I'll go through my morning routine, and then I'll talk about the way I constructed it. So here's what I do every morning is I get up, I make my bed. Watched a video about a Navy SEAL once, it says it's the thing to do, so I do it. You know, I don't know if it really makes me feel satisfied, or at the end of the day when I come home, it's really like, oh, I accomplished something. But it's just an act of like, all right, that's what I do. I make the bed. So I make the bed, then I take my probiotic. After that, I go and I practice my rope dart, which is a whole thing. It's a flow arts toy, but it's not a toy, it's a weapon. But I do that target practice and practice that, which is just kind of also a meditation of sorts, while I listen to another habit reprogramming mechanism that I've developed, which I'm willing to talk to people about. This is something I charge a little bit for, but it's to literally create a new program in your mind that is a recording of yourself rewiring a belief that's not serving you well in your life. So listen to that. After that, I go and work out. I'll do maybe some push-ups, some pull-ups. I'll do maybe some burpees, maybe go for a run, shadow box, some kind of thing to get my body moving and keep me active and fit. After that, I stretch, because all of that gets me tight, and I sit like this all day. So I try to open myself up, really make my muscles work and function properly, so when I get old, I'm not right? So after that, it's eat, where I make the same thing every day. It's very simple, which it's a system that's taken me 6+ years to perfect. And basically I eat eggs with turmeric, salt, garlic butter, which is like a vegan black garlic butter and turmeric. And then I have a smoothie, which is Dr. Rhonda Patrick smoothie. Look it up on the internet. It's really good, and it's really helped me just be healthy, make sure I get all the vegetables I need in my diet. So I go, I sit down, I watch some kind of YouTube video, usually educational, from one of my subscriptions, something typically on philosophy I like a lot, helps me tremendously. After that, I take a shower, go through my whole shower routine, and then get dressed, put my backpack and stuff away, make a sandwich, and I'm out the door. There's a little bit more. There's a couple things I do on the train, which is like a mind palace technique, and I try to study math a little bit on the way to work every day. But those are kind of the two final pieces that I often forget. But it's all about building, which we'll get into, because I only build one thing at a time. So let's get into that. Let's get into how I built this whole system, which has taken a while, and I failed a bunch. So like, just remind yourself and be okay when you don't stick to it, because it's happened to me so many times, and it'll happen so many more. It takes a while for your system to get into it not being a thing that's thought about. It's just a thing that's done, and you gotta forgive yourself and let it be okay when you don't do very well. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So the first thing is for the first week, all I do is make my bed when I get up. I don't think about any of the other habits. I have it flow charted out, so I know what's next and like what I'll focus on in the next week. But the first week is just making my bed. And I just make sure I do it every day. And if I complete that, I'm good, right? And this is an interesting compounding effect that you won't probably see anywhere else to help you build more habits at a time. Because they double down and they reinforce. It's like a doubling loop, okay? So first week, boom, hit it, I'm good. Next week, it's the same thing. I get up and I just make my bed. I've already been doing it for a week. What's another week, right? It's just the thing I do now. So I make my bed, and then I add in the second thing. So I would add in drinking water and taking the probiotic. That's the next week. Just those two things every week. That's all. I don't think about it. I just do it. Simple. It's like, okay, third week, those things are now in there. I've already been doing them. Just keep doing them. And now they're reinforcing. Now I've done 2 weeks of making my bed straight. The habit's even more further enforced and closer to the 66th day or whatever. It doesn't matter, like a 2-month mark or whatever. And then I'm on the third week, which is now doing rope dart after I do those first 3 things. So you get the idea. Then it compounds. You just keep doing the same thing until you have your whole thing formed, and you don't think about doing it. You just get up and you act. There's no thought involved. You can think about other things. You can think about work while you're doing these things, because you're not like, all right, I need to go and do that now. You just get up and do it. That's the point of a habit, is a thing that you don't think about. It's using your subconscious to create actions. So that's basically creating a morning routine. It's extremely simple. It's just picking the things that you think are beneficial to your life. So maybe you want to read every morning, or you want to do a fast. You fast through, you don't do breakfast, but you do a workout, or maybe you do some other kind of productive thing like shave, or I don't know, do a set of handstands, right? It's up to you to make your daily habit every day, but it's just such a vital thing that it fits you, and that you're doing things that are gonna be difficult to do, but are gonna improve your life in the long run. So you gotta really focus on long-term thinking. That's how you get to where you wanna be and you become successful. So besides that, before we get into questions, I'm going to tell you a little bit about something I'd like to offer you guys, which is really cheap. They're just $10 for 3 forms that I made that will help you with your routine and like sticking on track, and we're also recording data in your life, which I find really helpful to like see, like, am I sticking with this habit? Or, how am I feeling throughout my life? It's hard to, we're good at feeling day to day or moment to moment, but like, how have I felt over the course of this month? And looking back, like, you don't know, but with my main form, the nighttime form, which you can build into your nighttime routine, which all mine is brush my teeth and do that form. It's simple. It's all I need to do. And then it makes me feel like I accomplished today, and I like reviewed the day. And I tracked how I felt. So in it, there just has two, like, there's more than two questions, but two of the like best questions I think are, how was it? Like, how did I feel today? Which is on a scale of 1 to 3. Did I feel sad and not great and frustrated? Or did I feel just neutral, not great, not bad, just fine? Or do I want every day to be like this? Was this like the optimal day? And I just click one of those three buttons, it logs it, and then I can go back and look like, oh, I'm in like a middle area. I'm being average. All right, I need to get into this. I want this every day to be like this day. So I need to start working towards that. It helps me be like, okay, I know I'm not there. Let's move towards that. The next one is what specific feelings was I feeling today? So I look at, wow, I was feeling really joyful. I was high joy or mid joy, or I was feeling really frustrated and angry. Frustrated or angry. There's different levels because there's high anger, mild anger, which is just a middle anger, and there's low anger, which is frustrated. On top of that, there's a problem-solving form, which is really awesome. It's all about going in and figuring out how to solve problems, right? Like in your life, we all deal with them. We all have problems. This helps you literally look at and identify your cognitive biases that might be holding you back from figuring these things out, and helps you go solve them. And the third one's a decision-making form to help you make like really difficult decisions, like should I move to Chicago or should I move to Phoenix? Well, obviously Phoenix. But if you're trying to make that decision, what's really best for you, this will help you make that decision. And then the free form I give away, if you just want to go onto the website, totally free. Just give me your email and then you can have it. It's my receipt form. So track your receipts so your accountant doesn't get mad at you anymore. Be like, oh, what was that? And you like can't remember. You have everything tracked. It's all in there. They can literally go in, filter out exact areas in your budget, what they're looking for, do a search, and you can find exactly what they need. So those are the things. It's only $10 for all 3, 4 if you want the extra one, the email. But yeah, so let's move into questions. So many, oh my God. There's only like 2. So we'll just go through those. So the first is if a habit is not sticking, what should I do? Okay, so this is an all right question. So basically like a habit just isn't, you're not really into it and you should be doing that habit, but it's not sticking there and you just like keep trying and not following through on it with yourself. What's going on here? So first of all, we get really tough on ourselves when we don't stick with a habit. And we think, oh, we should do this, we're better than this. And why am I not able to do it? Everyone else is able to do this. That's how it is. It's okay to think like that. But we should try our best not to, right? Because it's really not beneficial. I know I do it all the time, but it doesn't make me feel any better, right? It won't make you feel any better. So we just got to work on, all right, what is it that needs to be done? What changes do we need to make to get it to where this will work for us? And a lot of it is looking back at past mistakes. What went wrong last time? Like, let's say we're trying to stop eating sugar. Well, what do we feel when we get a craving for sugar? Is it triggered by, is the cue like, oh man, I'm so sad and I got dumped, so I'm just gonna go eat like 5 tubs of ice cream. That's, the cue. I'm sad. That's what I do is the routine triggers. I go eat a tub of ice cream. The reward, I got ice cream. Duh, that's yummy. It's delicious. Our brain loves it. So you keep reinforcing that habit instead of saying like, let's put something else in there. Like if I get sad, oh, I feel bad. Instead of going to eat a tub of ice cream, we can maybe move things around and go, let's go for a walk. Like a walk's way better than eating a tub of ice cream. Would you agree? And then if we go on the walk, then we can say, all right, we get to eat half a tub of ice cream. So we're also reducing what we're doing. We're lessening our amount of sugar that we're eating, but we're still getting some, and we're doing something beneficial in place of the sugar that we normally eat. So you do it very slowly. You gotta like parse it down if it's, say, sugar. Some people have to cut it all out right away. But I'd say like if you're gonna do that, take something like eating sugar and take out the one biggest thing and then leave all the little small things. But like the one biggest thing, like you eat this one thing all the time, take that out so you can only have it once a month. So because you still want the thing, it's okay to have it every once in a while. But at first, just cut that thing out, have all the little things, and then slowly parse out all the smaller ones. Building habits is the best when you just slowly parse things out and phase things out and trying to get rid of everything at once, because you're definitely going to break. And another way also is to give yourself cheat days, because those do help. But the difficult part is not letting the cheat day move on to 2 or 3 or 4 days, because then it just becomes, you just get back in that old habit loop cycle, right? I hope that helped. I hope that answered the question. If not, again, follow up with me and we can dive further into it. So the next question is, what are some other good habit? Sorry, not habit. Jesus, I can't read. I'm dyslexic. What are some other good options for morning routines? Okay. Some great things for morning routines are drinking a glass of water. I highly recommend that one. Getting 30 grams of protein, like 30 minutes after you wake up. Doing some kind of exercise. Reading. I'd say even if it's YouTube and watching some kind of YouTube, but like educational philosophy, e-course, something like that, something that's going to, ignite things in your brain. I'd highly recommend doing that. Practicing something, maybe like the piano or a guitar, doing something, some kind of creative endeavor, I think is a great one. Meditation is another phenomenal one that has definitely helped me a lot in my life, and will probably help, actually absolutely will help everyone in their life. Other things should be like just things you don't really like doing, like cleaning the cat litter. Just make sure that becomes a habit that you do every day, so then house doesn't stink, because no one likes that. Another one could be calling and telling a loved one that you appreciate them and want to see them more often. Or just sending a text like that, or sending emails to people like that. They love that. Just connecting with people. That's something I'm going to start implementing after I get everything else locked down, is reaching out to one person every day and connecting with them in some way, because I think people are the most important parts of our lives. So that is pretty much it. Reach out if you have any more questions. Thank you for watching, those that came, those that didn't. Thank you for viewing this and coming to the website where this will be hosted, or finding this event page, which is going to be very unlikely. But if you did randomly and you enjoyed it, I hope it helps. Thanks again. The website is www.tactful.life. That's www.tactful.life. You can find it. I'll leave the link in the comments. And thanks again.